What's going on, guys? It is Joe, and welcome to another episode of the Breakfast Club. It is actually currently 9:24 in the morning, so some people are having breakfast. I today woke up around 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, had some French toast, took it to go because I was going to run late for clients if I would have sat down and actually made this video. But regardless, this is still breakfast. However, it's my meal number 2. I was going to make pancakes, but I just wasn't feeling pancakes, so I'm having a wrap instead. We have in here some chicken, some guacamole, some fat-free cheese, cucumber, spring mix, tomato, all on a Joseph Lavash wrap right here. I was feeling the wrap today. I really was. This just is one beauty. For those of you that are new to the channel, maybe this is your first video watching, The Breakfast Club is a series on my channel which I superset between vlog and Breakfast Club every other day. Basically to go down in the comments, a little mini Q&A with some of the questions that are left in the comments, or DM to me on Instagram at Joseph_Garcia17. Make sure you give me a follow there. Call it The Breakfast Club because you just basically sit here and eat breakfast. Yeah, I'm going to eat this really quickly. I can't really multitask. It's hard to eat when I really want to eat, and then also answer some questions. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will see you guys as soon as this is done.
A few minutes later.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the next question. So this comes from Taco Man. Shouts out to Taco Man. I have a question for a future Breakfast Club episode. What is your opinion on maintaining trying to build muscle slowly around your maintenance calories while keeping your body fat percentage in check, as opposed to a classic cut/bulk cycle? Is it optimal? Should beginners or early intermediates do it? I know that trying to maintain that you will also see the scale weight increase little by little over the years due to building muscle. This is such a good question. A lot of the questions have been coming in recently about maintaining, about around bulking and cutting cycles. So what is more optimal? At what point should you maintain? At what point should you maybe cut or bulk? I think this is a very important question. So this is my explanation when it comes to maintaining. This is what I recommend, that how you should kind of go about maintaining or cutting or bulking. There's a couple of different scenarios, and it really depends on the overall individual. I think that maintaining is always the best approach when it comes to just staying in a healthy body fat percentage where you feel and look good and slowly building muscle from there. Does the scale go up a little bit? Yes, it can go up as long as your body fat is in check and you're staying relatively lean, you're happy, healthy, have enough energy to perform in the gym. That way you can slowly add on the muscle tissue as well. At what point should you bulk? Well, for somebody that is already extremely low body fat percentage, like we're talking single digit body fat that can afford to basically bulk up, that is lean enough where they can afford to put on a couple pounds of fat and still be healthy, have more energy, perform and be stronger in the gym, and add on more lean muscle tissue. If you're at a point where you're too lean, where you have no energy, you're not getting stronger, hormones are out of whack, your sleep sucks, basically just how I felt while being on prep, then yes, that is your cue to basically increase your calories and start quote unquote bulking. Now, when we say bulk, it doesn't mean to go into this massive surplus of calories where you're gaining 1 to 2 pounds per week. That's a really good way to get fat as shit. It can literally be as simple as you adding an extra snack of like 200 to 300 calories per day. That alone could change how much better you feel, how much better you sleep, your performance in the gym, all of that. So when I say bulk, it's not going to a crazy surplus, but maybe it's just adding just a couple hundred extra calories. And maybe if you're doing a lot of cardio, to tone the cardio back a little bit. And if you can't control how much cardio you're doing, say like it's for your job and you're always on your feet a lot, then that just gives you more room to eat more calories and still stay relatively lean while maintaining the muscle tissue. Now, the question is, when should you cut? And to what point should you cut down to? Let's say you are just relatively unhappy with the way you look and you want to get a little bit leaner. Nothing wrong with that. And for males, if you're 25% body fat and above, for females it's 33% above. If you are medically obese, basically, if you have some fat that you can afford to lose, then that is your cue to basically cut. If you're above 25% for a male and you're above 33% for a female, I suggest you start cutting down and getting to a healthier body fat percentage that you can maintain, feel good, and have energy. If you're at 25 and you now get to 20 as a male, well, one, you've actually lowered your body fat percentage and you're healthy. And two, yeah, you're not necessarily 10% body fat or 12% body fat and shredded or stripped, but you're healthier than you were at 25. You're somewhere in that middle ground, which is where you want to basically find a place where you can live at, where you can then maintain and build muscle slowly over time, at the same time slowly continue to break down more body fat. So those are kind of the scenarios that an individual might either actually cut or actually bulk, but it's not in the traditional sense where you hear people go into these massive surpluses for bulking and they go into a huge calorie deficit for cutting either, because the opposite is true on both ends. You don't want to overly aggressively bulk and you don't want to over aggressively cut either, because overdoing it on the bulk will cause you to gain a lot of fat and not a whole lot of muscle, muscle, and then overdoing it on the cut, well, you'll lose a lot of fat, but you'll also lose a lot of muscle. You want to be somewhere in the middle between those two spectrums of basically bulking, gaining muscle slowly, and adding on a little bit of fat that's still healthy, feel good, and have energy, and then cutting where you cut to a point where it's like you feel good, you have energy while you're cutting, and you can still even build muscle for a lot of people as well. Because building muscle while cutting is very, very doable. When you bulk, think this: what is the least amount of calories that I can eat per day that allows me to feel good, have energy, and put on the muscle tissue? And when you cut, think, what is the most amount of calories that I can eat to drop body fat, keep and build muscle, feel good, and have energy? As far as like what stage do you do it, you can do it at any stage, whether you're a beginner, you're intermediate, or you're advanced. Push nutrition that way at any stage of your actual lifting lifespan, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced person. And gaining portion can apply to you at any stage of your lifting career. Even my plans for the off season, which I will get into and go more in depth what I am specifically doing for me to Maingain in the off season after this next show that I have on June 19th, which, by the way, coming up to this show on June 19th, one day out from the show, I was 158 pounds. I forget the exact number, like 158.6, 158.2, or it might have been 158 pounds flat. I forget, but I know it was 158 in that some range. The day after the show, because of the water and the carbing up and all that stuff that I implemented after I was dehydrated, I was up to 177 pounds waking up one morning. It was on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is now Tuesday. So it's been 3 days, and in those 3 days, I have basically gone back on my diet. I have gone back to my cardio, not an hour. I've been doing an hour walk on the block, but again, it's not quite as intense as doing an hour incline walk on the treadmill. So relatively like 30 to 40 minutes if it was like an incline walk on a treadmill. But I've gone back onto a cardio regimen, got back onto my regular plan that I did for this show. I'm having around 2,800 calories per day, which being 164 and then knowing when peak week comes around, I will drop another 5 pounds on average, maybe 4 to 5 pounds because of that depletion of glycogen. It'll be 158 pounds one day out from the show, maybe be 160, 159, be a little bit more fullness in myself, be relatively just as lean, but just be a little bit bigger on stage. That's my plan going into the next show. So I honestly might be floating anywhere between 2,800 to 3,000 calories over the next couple weeks. Because I remember the show's still 3 weeks out. I'm 164 pounds. I don't need to diet as hard. I can kind of just Maingain from here up until the show and have a little bit more food and just tone back my cardio down a little bit. If I notice that my weight starts creeping up a little bit, I start weighing heavier in the morning. If I go above like 165, then I'll have to ramp the cardio up and deplete a little bit and cut the calories a little bit more. But I'm gonna try and maintain around 2,800 to 3,000 calories, just going for walks and not even going on the treadmill at an incline for my cardio. Gaining is the way to do it. It's the way I advocate you to start dieting. If you have extra fat, you gotta cut down into the level of body fat that you're happy at, and you maintain that from then on out, basically. If you are extremely skinny and you know you need to put on lean muscle tissue, you already have a six-pack, but you wanna get a little more size, then you slowly increase your calories. You still do cardio because that's important for your heart, but you slowly increase your calories to the point where you like the size that you're at, and you Maingain from there, basically. Yeah, Taco Man, I hope that answered your question as far as my opinion on Maingain, bulking and cutting, all that stuff. I've had this question ready to go for a couple weeks, and I've been wanting to answer it. I want to give my opinion on the whole Maingaining, bulking and cutting. I don't think bulking or cutting is necessary. I think it's too extreme on either end of the spectrum. You gotta be somewhere in the middle, in a healthy body fat percentage where you feel good, you have energy, you can still build muscle from that point. Wrapping the video up here, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below or message me them on Instagram. Leave a like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you guys are new. It's been your boy Joe. Peace.